Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma. If this is your first time here, then welcome. And if you've been here before, then I'm so happy you found your way back. So today I was kind of thinking that we could talk about a project that I did recently, which is custom DIY clothes closets for American Girl doll clothes. So I realized as I was going through some of my doll things that all of my clothes were kind of just like stuffed into a bin. I do have a Samantha's wardrobe from when I was a kid, and I put some clothes in there. And then I have, I'll put a picture of it up, but it's like, it's kind of like an armoire thing that goes into a doll's bedroom. And I do put clothes and shoes and stuff in there as well. But I had some other clothes that just wouldn't really fit in either Samantha's wardrobe or this armoire. And I don't mean fit style, because they totally could fit the style, but they literally just do not fit. Like, I have too many clothes. And so I just have all of these clothes in these plastic bins. And they're getting all smushed, and they're packed in there, and it makes it kind of hard to just ruffle through things and find things. And I would much rather have all of the clothes nicely hung up so they're not getting wrinkled and they're easy to see and find. So I did some Googling around to try to figure out what I wanted to do, if I wanted to buy a couple of wardrobes that matched, if I wanted to make my own. I saw several online videos and tutorials of like how to make your own that involved a lot of painting, a lot of sawing wood into specifically sized pieces. I saw some on Facebook Marketplace that I could just buy completely made, even made for dolls. But I was also picky. I have a fair amount of full-length dresses that like maybe were part of Elizabeth and Felicity's wardrobe. So they just go all the way down to the doll's feet. And I really like it when my doll's dresses can stand all the way up, that they don't have to bend at the bottom to like fit into their closet. So my standards were that basically whatever closet I chose had to be really tall. And I measured how tall a dress was on its hanger. And if I remember right, it's like 20 inches or something. Like after you add in the size of the hanger, the wardrobe would have to be like 20 inches tall. And the fact that you have to have a little space at the top to move the hanger like in and out. So that was kind of big. That's kind of a tall wardrobe. And a lot of the ones that I was seeing online just didn't qualify in that regard. So I decided to kind of make my own. And I looked back at some of those DIY videos, and I saw some really good ones that was like, oh, all sources that you can find at Dollar Tree and things like that. And I was just like, oh, but those look kind of flimsy and they're not the size that I want. And I want to do something myself. So I was like, okay, I'm going to need to basically get pieces of plywood and like saw them to be specifically sized, and then like pound and nail them together and make them perfect. And then I was like, okay, no, let's back up. Maybe that there are some boxes that I can already use. So then I went into this rabbit hole of looking up boxes and crates and things. And I ended up finding these these crates from Michaels. And so I ended up actually getting all of my materials at Michaels, which was really nice from the standpoint that I only had to go to one store. So in the video, once the more formal footage starts, I'm going to walk through the 3 pieces that I got from Michaels, the wood pieces. I'll also talk through the like the actual equipment that was used to chop them, make them into the right sized. And then also you'll kind of get to see a little bit of video about like how I attached all the pieces at the end. They came out so well. I did not paint anything. I could have if I wanted to. The crates that I got, you'll see they're kind of a like a light wood color. So definitely could have painted. I'm sure some people, if they copy my idea, and please do, it's anyone can take this idea. You could paint it. I decided not to because they actually match. I have a pair of shelves. They are from IKEA. They're called Ivar, and I will post a picture up in one of these sides of what they look like. So those shelves are naturally just like a light wood color. So I figured that these crates would look really good with those shelves. These crates, I designed them to be storage crates, so they're not like to go into a dull room or anything. They're just supposed to store things. So they came out really, really well, and I'm so excited to show them off. And so without further ado, let's watch the footage together. First thing you'll need is a crate. This I got from Michael's. It is about 17.8 inches by 12.5 by 9.25, in case you wanted to get the same one. I got 2 of these because I plan to eventually make 2 wardrobes standing vertically like this. A dowel. This one is 3/8 of an inch in diameter. It's 48 inches long, so I'm going to cut it into multiple pieces. And some wood. This one is maybe like a foot long or something like that, and 0.4 of an inch in width. I'm going to cut it into 3 even pieces, and I have 2 of these. Now you can see I have some big headphones to block loud noises, some goggles, a tool called a Dremel, which can cut in a rotary fashion, and then not pictured, I also have a drill as well that I can use to make holes. Here you can see I have 2 thin pieces of wood. I'm going to use them as shims. So what that means is that I can attach them to the crates and then stick the dowels through the shims to keep the rods or the dowels in place. So the first thing I'm going to do is kind of measure them, and I want 6 of them total because there's going to be 2 per crate, and then this way I just have extras in case I do want to make a 3rd crate later. So I'm going to try to split the pieces of wood into 3 even sections, and then I have 2 of them, so that makes 6 approximately even sections. I didn't feel like I needed to be super thorough with splitting them. I just wanted to make sure that they were split enough. So the additional pieces that I used, or the additional equipment that I used for this, was a pencil and a tape measure, as you can see. And then as well, I used the other shims to make straight lines, but if you didn't have something to make a straight line, then you would need a ruler or something to make a straight line. Now here we can see that I used the dowel to kind of make an outline of a circle into the middle of each of the 3 pieces of wood. And now we can see that my husband, he's being so helpful right now and so lenient with me filming, is using a drill to make a hole. The drill is a little bit bigger than the hole itself. That's okay. I'm just trying to hold the little dowels in place. They don't have to be perfect. And also a brief reminder, anytime you're using power tools, please make sure that you have on safety goggles and those big headphones to block the loud noise from the power tools. And now we're going to use the Dremel to cut along the pencil lines that I had drawn on those little shim pieces of wood. So this is not really done as safely as it could be. My husband's arm is actually really close to where the cutting is going to be happening. That's not ideal, but of course he is an adult, I'm an adult. We felt confident in this project. Please do not attempt this with any power tools if you do not feel comfortable in the project or don't have an adult present. Please make sure that you ask for help if you need it. In fact, when I told him that I wanted to do this project, he actually said, "Thank you so much for asking me to help you," because I don't know personally if I would have felt comfortable doing this myself. So I asked for help too, and it's okay, and it was perfect. So my husband flipped it over to get it from the other side as well. This was just to make sure that he could do as clean of a cut as he possibly could. And there it goes. Now it's off. Now we're going to repeat the same process on the dowels. So we cut the 48-inch long dowel into 3 even pieces again so that I could make a third crate closet if I wanted to, but we're going to start with just 2. So my husband cut all of those pieces out for me as well, one by one. And there it goes. Next up was sanding. So I used 60 grit sandpaper to sand down all of the edges of all of the pieces of wood. And then I used a pencil and my measuring tape, not pictured, to measure to the exact placement where I wanted all of the shims to go and lightly marked them with a pencil so that if they did fall down, I could later put in screws to keep them in place exactly where I wanted them. And then I used wood glue to put glue on the back of all of the shims and then carefully attach in the place that I marked with the pencil. And when they're all attached, you can see that there's one on each side, perfectly aligned together. And then I tested it out by putting the first few outfits onto the dowel rods, and they fit absolutely perfectly. And I am so thrilled by how much weight they can hold too. So my wardrobe is done. It is these 2 crates with the little dowels hung up. Currently they are just attached with these shims and glue, but I can always add screws if I need to. The long dresses basically fit perfectly. They reach the bottom but don't drag, which was my goal. And I can fit some shoes in the bottom as well as some hats. So it's perfect. And that is my DIY closet project. And the last thing I forgot to mention in my video, my intro video, so I'll just mention it now, is that after all of the equipment that I bought at Michael's, my total was $37. So both crates, the dowels and the shims, cost $37. We did have the wood glue and the pencil and the measuring tape and all of the other equipment, the sanding equipment and stuff like that. We had all of that at home already, so we didn't have to purchase any of that. So I don't know how much any of that would have been to get new at the store. We've had all of that for years, but yeah, so just the wood pieces themselves, $37. So maybe a little bit more expensive than Dollar Tree, but they were definitely not too pricey. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please feel free to like and subscribe and comment, and I'll see you next time. Bye.